Okay, thank you for joining me. This is the AfroDJMac Fender feedback rack. All these sounds were created by recording feedback from my two guitars, a Fender Mustang and a Fender Jag-Stang, and then mapping those samples out, which we have right here, onto the keyboard. So the first rack I have here is the one made with my Mustang. And the second one I have is the one made with my Jag-Stang, which sounds a little different. The one with the Jag-Stang has two samples, which kind of creates a natural chorusing sort of thing. If you want to hear just one, you can just turn those off. I have those panned a little to the left and a little to the right, just to give it a little spread. So let me take you through these racks here. They're basically the same thing, except the samples are different. So I start off with a filter. And we have the resonance for the filter. The next knob here. I've added a little vinyl distortion plugin. Let me open that up for you here. So I'm going to close this down. Vinyl distortion is just designed to give this a little kind of natural dirtiness. You can mix that in how you like. And you'll notice in this little vinyl distortion rack here, I have a gate. The reason I have a gate is because if you don't, the distortion makes sound all the time. And that could be a little bothersome, so I just turn the gate on here. And now it will only sound when you're playing the notes. Okay. Let's see, we have a tremolo, which is made with an auto pan. So we just, as we turn that on, we go through different rates. We have vibrato, which is used through the frequency shifter plugin. And you'll see what I'm moving right here is the amount and the rate. So as we have just a little bit of vibrato, the rate is a little slower. And as we get a lot, it goes a little faster. Next, we have the chorus plugin, which turns on chorus and allows you to adjust the dry wet. We have a reverb. Turns it on and off as soon as you move the knob, and then adds the dry wet down here, which you can see moving. Okay. And last one on this is a flanger. Again, turns it on and then adjusts to dry wet. The only difference between these two racks, other than the samples, are that on this one with the Jag-Stang, I have the tremolo set at the last part of the rack. So you can do things on this one, like turn up a lot of reverb, tremolo. Oops, I'm sorry, I'm playing the wrong one here. So we got our reverb all the way up, flanger, but our tremolo is cutting all that stuff off. It's a sharper cutoff than, say, our other rack, which when you turn on, say, the reverb's a good way to show you how this works. You know, that's going to ring out a long time, but as we turn up the tremolo on this one, there's reverb that kind of takes away the effect of the tremolo a little bit, softens it. So like I said, in the other one, you turn your reverb all the way up, your tremolo is cutting it off. Okay. I wanted to just show you one thing about how I'm doing all this mapping here. while I'm at it. Take your chorus, for example. We'll open chorus up. I have it set so that as you turn the chorus, not only does it do the dry wet, which you can see right here, dry wet, 0 to 100% is my range. So if I drop this down to say 50, you will see that my chorus knob will only go up 50% or 49. So if you want to set a limit to how much effect you can actually put on, or if you want to, if you make it a real short range, you can really fine tune it. A big turn of the knob only goes up a little bit. In this case, I have it set all the way to 100%, so you can really layer some chorus on there if you want. The way I turn these devices on and off is I have this device on, this here, mapped again to the same macro knob here. And rather than the default, which is 64, which now what happens is this thing doesn't turn on until it gets to 64, which is halfway. So I have it turn on at 1. So the slightest turn of a knob turns these things on. And that's the same technique I'm using for the flanger, the reverb, the tremolo. The tremolo is the same kind of thing. It is off until I turn the knob. And once I turn the knob on, you see that plugin turns on. It's kind of a nice way to have a 2-in-1 thing. You can map as many things as you want to each knob. One other thing, just to give you an idea of how I did it on the filter. The filter is just a little bit different. The filter is, when you have it all the way to the right, it's essentially off. Let's turn off our tremolo. It's essentially off. It's not doing anything. So I have both the frequency mapped to this and the on-off switch mapped to this. So now as I turn this up, filter's on. As soon as I get all the way, it shuts off. I imagine that probably saves a tad on the CPU, and that's something I'm always trying to save a little on. The only difference is instead of having it turn on at 1 and go to 127, I have it on at 0 and it turns off at 126. So when I get all the way to the right, which is 127, it now turns off. Just find that a handy way if you ever want to have your effects turn on as you turn the knob rather than pushing another button or turning another knob. Save your knobs on your controllers that way. So anyway, those are the racks, the Fender Mustang feedback and the Fender Jag-Stang feedback rack. Hope you enjoy them. If you make any music with them, please send them along. I'd love to hear what you got. Thanks for following. Take care.